Shalom lekulam. Welcome to Hebrew Book Review. Today I am going to talk about Aleph Bet Story by Lily Jacobi and Diana Jacobi. Welcome to my very first book review. I hope it will be the first of many that will help you choose a book or books that will help you or your child learn Hebrew. Today I am reviewing the Aleph Bet Story by Diana Jacobi and her daughter Lily Jacobi, with illustrations by Sari Born. All of these books can be purchased at their website, readhebrewnow.com. There is a whole series of books all about learning how to read and write Hebrew for children who are in Sunday school. But these first three are specifically about just practicing, recognizing, and knowing the letters. One of the authors, Diana Jacobi, was a Sunday school teacher at her synagogue, and she just was not able to find appropriate materials for children to learn Hebrew. And as far as I know, she's still teaching. I spoke to her a few months ago, and she was still strong at it. Anyway, even though this series is intended for children, this book, the Aleph Bet Story, which is the main book, can also be helpful for adults who do not have anybody helping them recognizing the letters. I'd say that the series is about 20% religious. There are references to biblical stories as well as Jewish customs. And while it doesn't exactly focus on the religiosity, they do exist there. All of the books use the exact same Hebrew font, which is a Times Roman type. So it is very easy, and they're usually rather large letters, so very easy for beginners and for kids to see. This series starts from scratch. It is teaching the letters from the very beginning, so nobody needs any knowledge before using any of these books. And to that note, if you are a family that's wanting to learn Hebrew along with your kids, this is a great way to get started because it teaches all of the teaching is done in English, and it doesn't assume that the teacher knows anything either. So it's good for those purposes too. So the series starts exactly from scratch, and it teaches the names, the shapes, the characteristics that you're looking for, and the sounds of all of the letters. And the workbook also teaches how to write the letters in block style. So this is the main book, Aleph Bet Story. It's the small one, and it goes through all of the letters one by one with a little story about each letter that tries to help the students learn the shape of the letter and learn what sound it makes. So, for example, this is the page on Dalet. Dalet gets confused a lot with Resh, and the only difference is this little corner, this little overhang on the top right corner. So you can see that the picture really made you focus on the top right corner. It makes sure you're really looking there. You're really looking at the area that distinguishes this letter from the other letter. And the other books will reinforce that concept as well. So this is the activity book, and it was written by Diana and Lily, also with Jill Leibowitz. Want to give credit where credit is due. And this is probably the one that you don't need if you are an adult learner. because even though they're all kinds of fun activities, they're probably a little more suited for the kids. But you can see that with this Dalit page, once again, they are focusing, you're drawing your own cobwebs in the dark, dingy corner, and it's really reminding the kids that this corner is important. So I think the younger the kids are, the more fun these activities will be in the activity book. But I'm telling you, I have an 11-year-old, and if I gave him this to do, he would be enjoying it. So this is the workbook, and it mostly teaches how to write the letters in block style. And so if you're an adult and there are no kids in your life that you're also needing to teach, you might want to skip this book as well, because most adults do not write in block style. But if you do have kids in your life that you're going to be teaching them, then most kids do learn block style for at least a few months or up to a year, depending on how young they start, before they get started doing cursive. So again, here's the page for Dalit. And you can see up here in the corner, each page shows the page from the main book. And it also, these letters are nice and empty in the middle, fun for coloring. It also has a couple of lines. It gives you one line to trace and then one line to try to write them on their own. And then down at the bottom, it also gives an area where you can write them into a couple of words and try to say those words. And speaking of resources that go with the book, there are a set of audio files that you can purchase for very, very inexpensive, and then you download it straight off of their website. And they are just audio files of Lily reading the stories of each letter, so that it's separate audio files, one for each letter, which actually is really great, because if you're a teacher and you're focusing on a letter, you're wanting to get to the fifth letter, you don't need to try to figure out where in the audio file it is. It's a separate audio file all itself. But you can purchase the audio files completely on their own, and they're very, very inexpensive. And then you download them right there, and they're available for you within seconds. So I'm going to play the audio file in a second, and I want you to listen to how beautiful and how playful Lily's voice is as she's doing the different characters. I think she did an amazing job, and the quality of the audio is just really amazing. Take a listen.
Dalit.
Why is David pointing to a cobweb?
He's a little grossed out. Dalit has this dusty, dark, dirty, dented corner that creepy things love. What makes Dalit special? Dalit has one leg that sits on the line and has that dusty, dark corner that makes it spooky and special. Dalit has a dusty, dark corner. Dalit, D sound.
So that is the audio portion. Didn't it sound great? I purchased it in 2024 for $3. So it's a great deal. And especially if there is no teacher in the area to help anybody out with some of the more difficult sounds in Hebrew, I'm thinking specifically of all of the letters that have that throaty sound, like chet and chaf and chaf sofit. You can be looking at how it looks in the book and wonder, well, wait, what exactly is that sound? And to have the audio and be able to hear it is it can be a great asset. Also, the workbook includes the address to two addresses, in fact, to videos on YouTube. One of them didn't work for me, but those are the audio files that I had already purchased. So I don't know if maybe that one's just not available anymore. But the other one is a song that Lily recorded singing the Aleph Bet in order, which is always a great idea. They don't have just one Aleph Bet song the way we have our ABC song in English. They in Hebrew, they actually have quite a few different Aleph Bet songs, and it does not matter which one you choose, but it's a very good idea to get one in your head so that when you later need to be able to alphabetize something or look for something that's in alphabetical order, you will be able, you sing the song in your head to be able to figure out where that letter is. It's a great little song, and the video portion of it is just the pictures from the book. And then also, if you click while you're there, if you click on the picture for Lily Safrani, she got married, so her new last name. If you click on that picture, you will also see a few other videos that they did talking about how to use their books and their whole program. So that is the only way that I know to actually find these videos. And they can be really helpful, especially if you're going to be teaching just one kid or a couple of kids, or maybe you are going to have quite a few different kids who are learning Hebrew from you. And those can be really helpful to know what the plan was when they were creating the system, so that so that you maybe get some different ideas as to how best to use the books. So those are the 4 resources, these 3 books plus the audio files that go directly together with a 1-to-1 correlation, 1 page in here, then 1 page in here, 1 page here. And but there are others in the series. Got all kinds of other books. I'm not going to review them right now. I'm going to do them in a separate video. And they even have more beyond this. These are the rest of the books about Hebrew. They also have other books about celebrating Jewish holidays and stuff like that. All definitely for kids. But I only purchased the ones about Hebrew because that was my main focus here. And so I will review these in a separate video, but I wanted to make you aware of them now. So they've got a lot of resources. So I did purchase the Aleph Bet Story intending to use it with my son, but I never did. I think I actually misplaced it. And then by the time I found it, he was way beyond the level. But I really do wish I had known about it, because it is actually, it's an excellent way to introduce, especially young kids. And it would have made it so much more fun and interesting for him. My son was 6 when he started learning the Hebrew letters. And so all the things, the drawing, the cobwebs, um, I don't know, the coloring, there were all kinds of little activities. He would have just thought that was the best. I think it would have made it a lot faster for him to internalize the differences between all of the letters. And I just absolutely love the silly stories behind the letters. It just makes it so much fun, and makes the kids kind of love the learning process. Another thing I love is how on every single page of the workbook, they remind the students to start from the right side. My son, to this day, he's 11 now, he's been reading and writing Hebrew for 5 years, and he still occasionally starts on the left side. So it's great that they do show that. And the activity book, just the activities are so varied. The drawing happy faces or connecting the dots, drawing spider webs. When they're little, fun is the name of the game, and they've really, really succeeded in that respect. And I also absolutely love the audio files. especially like I mentioned before, when you don't have a native speaker and you're learning a language from scratch. Sometimes it can be a little confusing. I did this with Russian, and I saw there's a letter that they sometimes write as SHSH or sometimes SHCH. And you look at that as a non-native speaker and you think, how on earth am I supposed to say that? And, that's always the case whenever you have two separate languages. So, having audio files and being able to listen to somebody actually say the letter and say the sound is 100% better than just reading it alone. It's really hard to find anything to be critical about in these books. But I do have one thing that I can say, and that is in the workbook. After writing the letters on the two lines at the top, they give you words to write at the bottom of the page. And so all you're doing is you're adding your letter that you're focusing on. And then once you've added your letter, now you have a word and you've got a picture that matches. For example, here we've got degel, which means flag. But the problem is that if we are following the series with level 1 first and then level 2 second and then moving on and beyond, the students at this point only know the ah vowel. The ah vowel gets introduced with Aleph. Throughout the entire level, that is the only vowel they know. Except in the fact that in the workbook, they show words with other vowels. And so of course, if you are in a Sunday school setting, the teacher can help and say, oh, these are how these words sound. But if you're just a family, or if you are a kid alone, or a person alone, you might be looking at those symbols down below and saying, oh, well, what does that mean? And does this sound like dagal instead of degel? You might not know what vowel to put with it. And these vowels are presented in the Read Hebrew books, which are the next level of the program. But at this point in the program, when the students are doing these activities, they only know the ah vowel. So it's a little bit out of order. So that is it for the Aleph Bet story and its accompanying materials. It is such an excellent resource for kids or adults at the very beginning of their Hebrew journey. So if you have any questions or feedback, please leave it in the comments and I will do my best to respond. And also, if you have any book that you'd like me to review, please let me know and I will do my best to put it on the list. Hit like if you enjoyed this video and subscribe if you want to see more and press the notification bell. And also check out Hebrew Vocab Boost on Sundays and Hebrew Grammar Help on Tuesdays. Or just wait for next week's video, which will be on Animals in Hebrew, A Day at the Zoo by Sarah Mazur. So, lehitraot bapa'am haba'a. See you next time.